Good week between Christmas and New Year's where everyone is full and sleepy and clients are calling because they're bored. Is everyone experiencing kind of the same thing? I think we're all sort of trying to take a minute. We had a rough, busy year last year and lots of chasing the market around. This is typically the time of year I try to take a breath and do some infrastructure work and uh, sort of till the ground for spring, right? Um, and then you get those people reaching out and they're like, "Can we see this? What is?" Because they took a few days off work and realized their house is too small. So that happens. I mean, that's a real thing that happens this time of year, and it can be a little bit difficult to navigate because we have times when we're ready to ramp up and we're ready to run and we're at the starting gate, and and the market doesn't always line up with our plans, does it, Danielle?
No.
And of course, we don't know where the market's going from this. We do this time of year. We usually get a lot of people who may not consummate a deal. Um, we will find out 3 or 4 months from now whether they're actually going to buy or sell. Um, but we always have to be at least a little bit ready to serve, to help, to guide, to educate, to do all of those things. So we're always kind of trying to shore up our systems and make sure that they're working well and ready to go. So at least we've got the basics covered. Um, but how is it for you? Is this time of year the same everywhere despite the weather? We're in a cold climate. Well, we're in a four-season climate, but it's cold time right now, and that has an effect
Dark and
on what.
dreary.
Yeah, it is. It's dreary. It's gray. It's actually not particularly cold today. It's just chilly, like bone chilling cold. It was 20 below zero last week, and that was cold. But this is a different kind of cold. There was nothing was wet at 20 below
No.
zero. So so we'd like to find out what you're thinking about what's coming in the market. We see that demand really doesn't seem to be going anywhere. People might be sitting on the sidelines, but they're not disappearing. Um, and there's not a whole lot more inventory. So we still predict a continued tight inventory market with a housing shortage continuing, possibly even getting worse. I'm not sure how that's going to affect pricing. I know everybody seems to think that prices are due to come down, but the law of supply and demand doesn't really seem to agree with that. So I think we'll have to take a little bit of a wait and see um, perspective. And then, of course, it's going to depend on your own market and where you are, right? So ours never got as heated as many other places. And then even our micro markets, yours is different than mine. We do work all over the area, but where we live are very different markets. Um, Markets can be different price points. They can be different geographically. They can be first home versus second home. So be interesting to know what other people across the country are actually seeing, not just what the hype is and what the headlines say.
I'd be interested in seeing how some of these, the places that were several $100,000 over asking, especially when the demand was there for things like Airbnbs and stuff like that. If the people are taking less vacations, if those Airbnbs might end up on the market just because lack of demand, or if we're going to keep seeing the amount of travel, the next year or two, and if that would affect those type of markets.
It's a really interesting segment because it's been really, really popular. So there have been a lot of sales in that sector. And I'm on a few, this is totally anecdotal, but I'm on several Facebook groups with Airbnb hosts, and most of them are surprised at what the actual life of a hotelier entails. And so I think a lot of people buy them thinking this is quick, easy money. Look at the income side, and are really surprised by how much work and how much investment money goes into it. How things get damaged, how guests lie, how people scam. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on in the customer service world that many people don't really have their eyes open to before they get into it. And so I guess that a lot of those people will very quickly choose to get out of that business. What they do with that property, I'm not sure. It's usually a fairly specific kind of property that makes a good Airbnb, although people seem to be trying it with everything. So that will definitely be something to watch. If any of you agents are in that sector, I'd love to hear, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. I think that there's probably specific places where it's always going to be good. And then kind of those fringes where it could turn quickly.
Absolutely.
And then of course, a lot of municipalities restrict them or have different rules and laws about them. So that's another thing that people have to contend with, that's growing constantly and changing. So that'd be great to hear about. But we're predicting a market where people need to buy and sell houses, and we're going to help them. So hopefully that's what you do too. And we'll see you, I have to say it again, sorry, next year.
Happy New Year.